You are live on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the Tuesday Review. I'm Nathan, joined by James. How you going, James? What's made you happy in the last week?
The other night we got together and played some tabletop with Callum made his own little standalone one-shot campaign. So that was a good time.
I didn't even think of that as an option for my what's made me happy.
Neither did I. It was alright.
Yeah, no, it was a fun time.
Also joined by Callum. What's going on, Callum? What's made you happy in the last week?
As listeners might know, I'm a dedicated cruiser.
I don't know if you want.
No. I'm taking that.
Taking it back.
We're taking it back. That's right. And if you are a fellow cruiser, you're probably already aware. Tom Cruise won an honorary Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I think it's just like a glorified Key to the City style thing, because it's the gala where they give a whole bunch of people Oscar awards out of the season, so to speak. But rumor on the street is that his performance in Inarritu's upcoming film next year is going to blow people's socks off. So hopefully he'll win one by brute force next year.
As for what's made me happy, I got two small things. I finally finished Control.
The game?
Yeah.
You never finished it before?
I finished the first game when it came out. And
Okay.
I've been replaying it and playing the DLCs.
Oh, the DLC, yeah.
So I finished both of the DLCs for Control and the main game.
It's a
That's a
great game.
good time. And I've started playing Alan Wake 2.
Oh, nice.
So that's exciting. That's made me happy. And the other small thing I have is, and I took a photo of this so I can read it out very quickly. And I'm not a religious guy. We're not religious in this studio, but the Pope is a religious man.
Oh, the Pope Leo's top 4.
Yes, no, not that. But he addressed filmmakers elevating cinema and declaring it a spiritual art.
Well, we already knew that.
We already knew that, but it's nice to have it written down on paper from the man himself, right? He shared a powerful reflection on film, emphasizing that one of its greatest gifts is helping audiences look at their own lives with new clarity. He explained that cinema invites people to face the complexity of their experiences with new eyes and to see the world as if it were brand new. Through this process, viewers rediscover a portion of the hope and humanity that humanity needs in order to live fully. His message highlights how storytelling is not just entertainment, but a pathway to emotional understanding and inner growth.
Yeah,
Imagine being the Pope and you could be like, get me Spielberg on the phone. I want to see the Disclosure trailer.
No. But, the Vatican has stuff of their own.
That's it.
Like secret UFO documents.
Well,
and
it was the church that covered up the Italian, was it Magenta crash, allegedly?
Yeah.
So they were involved in that,
1930s.
allegedly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll get off topic, going straight into UFOs.
We're going all night.
But yeah, so I thought that was quite interesting, the Pope being a cinephile and declaring, as we already knew in our hearts, that film is a spiritual art.
Yeah, and I did see the headline, like he was like, against AI and algorithms, and he's like, we have to preserve cinemas. And
he
all
was
that.
remiss that he also didn't take the time to declare that Criterion should release internationally. But maybe not even God can get involved in that, apparently. So,
but yeah, I guess semi-rare based Pope.
Well, he's not 700 years old.
Yeah,
and he's American.
So
not that there's anything wrong with non-American popes. It's just he probably has.
It's more likely that
he has some of the pop culture.
He's from Chicago. Yeah. His top 4 was pretty good too. I can't remember. It's a Wonderful Life, I think, was on there. I can't remember the rest.
There was one. It's a Wonderful Life. Sound of Music was one. There were some others.
Yeah, but anyway, it was pretty good. Yeah.
So that made me happy, I guess. Anywho. We have a big show for you tonight. First, we'll get James's thoughts on the new film he watched. We didn't get a chance to watch it.
Yes.
Which is ironic because it's from a filmmaker that he generally has issues with.
Yeah, well, I'm the one. Yeah, so
Why don't you introduce the film?
So I had the opportunity to see an early screening of Osgood Perkins' Keeper, which is why I wasn't here for last week's episode. Now, listeners might remember that I didn't like his previous 2 films, Longlegs and The Monkey. The boys here liked it a bit more, like them more than I did. But I had problems with those previous movies. And then his next film, Keeper, because he's making these films so quickly.
Yeah.
Like Keeper...
respect the hustle, at the very least.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Longlegs and The Monkey did huge numbers.
Use it while you got it.
Yeah, Neon is just like take the money, do what you want, I guess.
If
and they don't cost that.
yeah.
I guess the movies don't cost that much money. So
is this why A24 kind of fell apart? because they used to be like that, where it was like small movies every year.
Well, yeah, A24 is getting bigger,
Wait,
and
I'm
they're
not,
releasing
I'm
more.
not thinking about A24. Sorry, Blumhouse.
Yeah, Blumhouse used to put out, or maybe they still do,
I
but
think
then they're not as they're not advertising as widely as they used to. I
No,
don't know.
I think Blumhouse is just like
Slowing down.
I think
they keep putting stuff out. It's just like not even like people aren't even interested.
And they're more expensive, and they take less risks now. Like, instead of doing some of those more interesting Blumhouse movies that you know, obviously they were maybe lesser quality, but like now we get the kids horror film.
Like Megan, the first one did really well, and so they're like, let's do Megan 2, and that one did really poorly. And it's just like, well, because no one cares anymore. And the second one was like a robot fighting comedy where she's the Terminator now or something.
Yeah, very strange pivot.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, I think they did one about a scary pool. Was that? I think that was
that actually
Blumhouse.
wasn't a bad movie.
And I'll take your word for it, Nathan. I don't trust your opinion on that.
I've seen it. You can check my Letterboxd. I gave it a review.
You know, like I think there's, you know, because these their MO of like releasing these small budget like horror movies, which always do well, at a certain point you're just churning out trash, and it's like people can get this from Shudder or Netflix.
I also, if I'm not mistaken, I think Blumhouse's problem also budget creep. The movies are costing more.
I don't think they are though.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, how much could the pool movie cost?
Oh yeah, but for every pool movie, then
yeah, but they don't really have that many big movies.
But yeah, Neon is like today's A24 of yesteryear.
Sort of. I mean, they're trying to get all the Oscar-winning movies, but you know, then they've got like the horror sort of stuff. They released Shelby Oaks, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, I think. Yeah. So anyway, they've given Osgood Perkins the green light to just do his thing, and Neon's marketing department are amazing because the trailers for Longlegs and Shelby Oaks and Keeper, like, amazing. And the movies never live up. So, you know, for me, the thing with Osgood Perkins, I was just like, man, just take a little bit more time between movies. Maybe do a second draft, please, because your movies aren't that well written. But like I said, The Monkey and Longlegs did really well, so I guess it doesn't matter. And then, you know, the Keeper was already announced by the time the Monkey came out earlier this year, didn't it?
Yeah.
So he's got he did Longlegs 24, and then 25 he's got 2 movies. And
the man's running from something, can't stop.
Yeah. He's going to try to get as many out before people realise he's no good.
Oh, come on now.
That's a bit harsh. All right.
Is Osgood Perkins from Boston? Because you know my theory about James and Bostonians. Let me look this up.
No, this is big.
That sounds like Osgood. That could be a good Boston name. Osgood Perkins.
Osgood.
Osgood Perkins.
He's Anthony Perkins' son. So I don't know if it was from Massachusetts.
Oh, Manhattan. Never mind.
Yeah, New York. But anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, Osgood Perkins. I didn't like his last 2 movies, but then Keeper was already like announced, you know, before The Monkey came out. And I was like, and it sounded interesting, and Tatiana Maslany was the lead in it. I was like, oh, that might actually be good. But I can't keep betting on this guy. Like, I can't keep spending money on this guy's movies and not liking it. So luckily, I got to see the movie early at a media screening, which was great. And the thing with Keeper, so Keeper is a much smaller movie than Longlegs and The Monkey. It's set mostly in a sort of isolated holiday home cabin in the woods type situation. And it's about a couple played by Tatiana Maslany and Rossif Sutherland, who found out is one of Donald Sutherland's sons.
Very good.
And they're like it's like their 1-year anniversary, so they're like getting serious, but they're not, you know, they haven't been together for that long. They go to this cabin, his cabin, like for like a long weekend, and then some creepy supernatural stuff starts happening, and you know, she's left alone in the house, and she's like, "What's going on? And who's involved? Who's not involved? Is it real? Is she going crazy? You know, that kind of stuff." I think for me, at the end of the movie, I was like, I liked it more than Longlegs and The Monkey, just because The Monkey and Longlegs after they ended, they like emotionally, I was more angry towards them because Longlings ended, and I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
There's all this stupid stuff with the dolls, and I was like, huh? None of it made any sense. And the monkey was trying to be funny, but I don't think it was funny. Like the tone was just, it didn't work. Whereas this one, it was tonally consistent throughout. There were funny bits, but they weren't jarring.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I think it looked nice. There's some really nice sort of slow fade, like cross fades.
Yep.
There's a really nice shot of Tatiana Maslany's face, and then it's like water is flowing over and behind her, and then it slowly fades into like a running river. And I was like, oh wow. And then there's a few of stuff like that.
Nice.
And
This
there's
is
some
arty film.
Yeah, and there's some really creepy.
That's Longlegs, but anyway.
There's some really creepy, supernatural, weird stuff throughout the movie, but mostly at the end, which I won't spoil. But it reminded me a lot of like J-horror stuff, like classic, like especially because I just watched all the Ju-on Grudge movies, so it reminded me of that unashamed, unabashed, like J-horror, ghosts, weird, creaturey, supernaturally stuff that you don't see in a lot of horror movies because they're trying to be they're trying to obfuscate it or trying to maybe, whereas this one was just like, no, it's here. And it reminded me of that J-horror stuff. So that I liked a lot. And Tatiana Maslany carries this movie on her shoulders. Like,
I like her. She's good.
She's great. But this movie doesn't work if her performance isn't as strong as it is. And it's honestly the only reason probably why this movie is any watchable at all. Because
how's the screenplay?
This is what I'm getting at. So those are the strengths of the movie, and those are why I liked it more than the previous two Osgood movies. Now, the problem with the movie itself, though, is much like Shelby Oaks, how I was like, the monkey and Longlegs pissed me off more, and so I liked them less, but they had higher highs. They had some set pieces, some cool, whatever, some scenes, some really interesting ideas. Keeper has some cool, creepy stuff at the end, but mostly it's about nothing. Nothing happens. None of the characters do anything. And that's not just me exaggerating, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't go into it, but literally, like, none of the characters, and there's not many, which is another thing, which isn't a problem, but none of the characters actively do anything. So at the end of the movie, it's like no one did anything.
I've seen people compare these two together. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, it did remind me of Together, but Together is a much a better movie, and also things happen along the way, and the characters are more active, and then there's more of a sort of steady growth of not only the characters, but like of the drama and the body horror and the stakes, and there's stuff introduced at the beginning, and then that's kind of reintroduced.
So there's no momentum in Keeper. So like
it's very flat.
In storytelling, there's this thing where if you're gonna have a drama that's in one location, all stories are supposed to have momentum. And normally in most movies, you take one character from another place, which causes a story point to emerge. And then that's how you keep the momentum going, because people are always going places. If you're at a drama like Keeper, the idea is instead of sending them to other places, instead you have other characters come to the place, like Mother, set in the one location. But because it's
that's different because it's...
if one location is metaphysical?
No.
Exactly.
My point
it's
is
like
they
control
only have
set in the one house.
they only have like the one set. Is what I'm saying. Oh, but not the one set. But you know what I mean. Like people come, which causes the drama.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, with Keeper, if there's not a big cast to
which
complicate
again, it's
things,
not really the problem, because there are so many movies that are set in one house.
My Dinner with Andre.
Or something like that. But
that's
then
also a metaphysical kind of film in itself, because half of the work goes on in your imagination, because that's all.
It's
that's
about all of the, but
my point is that why it's flat? Because you have the characters not doing anything, but there's no one coming to them to interfere with the drama. But even
when the characters do come in, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And then they leave, and it's like, and then it's revealed what happens at the end. It's like, oh, no one did anything. They're just kind of walking in and out of the house. And most of the time it's Tatiana Maslany walking around and creepy things happening, but to the audience, not to her.
Oh.
So it's like, we know the ghost is there, or the creature is there,
I
or the
see.
supernatural force is there. But she's just like, and then when she does see something, she reacts, but then she doesn't really do anything. She doesn't try to run away. She doesn't try. So it's like, it's this strange, it's not really a problem, the fact that it's a small location and it's only a few characters.
Yeah.
There are many great movies that are like that. It's just, at the end of the day, the writing was like...
You shouldn't direct horror at the audience. It should be directed at the characters.
Yeah, or if you are, you can do it once or twice, but if the whole movie is that, and then at the end when you realize that no one was actually doing anything, and the whatever the supernatural force was, like, it's not explained, which again, that's not a bad thing. You can have a mystery, and horror is usually a good thing, if not a great thing. But like, literally, like, there's no law. There's no...
Listening to you talk about it is taking the wind out of my sails for this film.
So anything you can get, like, from the movie is just your speculation. And even that, you're putting more work into it than the writer did. And Osgood Perkins didn't write this one. But
sounds like you didn't like it at all.
But here's the thing.
You have to have a critical look at these things. Even though, like, I did like his other movies, but at least in The Monkey and Longlegs, people were doing things in the world.
That's
there was
the
a sense of agency.
And this is where I'm kind of sort of stuck on how I rate films and how I feel about films. Is, you know, The Monkey and Longlegs ended, and the credits rolled, and I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
That was bullshit. Keeper ended, and I was like, oh, the end was kind of cool.
Is it the thing where it's like they're hoping that it ends, and that high on the ending is like, oh, that's 4 stars, because like you're thinking about the ending, but then if you let it mellow and you think about the whole film,
it's the same thing that happened with Shelby Oaks, where I was like, yes, Longlegs had higher highs, but Shelby Oaks was more consistently just whatever. And so at the end of the day, Longlegs had better moments, but Shelby Oaks was consistently more whatever. So it's like, I don't really know how to reconcile that feeling of like, technically I think Shelby Oaks was better because it didn't piss me off. It disappointed me.
I'll pay that.
And it's the same with Keeper. Keeper is not good, but at the end of it, there was no anger or any real rising
resentment.
emotion. It was more of a flat reaction. And so therefore, I liked it more. And like I said, there are some cool imagery and cool supernatural ghosty stuff. But most importantly, Tatiana Maslany just walking around her house, being alone and being scared. She's so great at that it's compelling enough to get you through the whole movie.
How long is the film?
Hour and 30, hour and 40 maybe.
Oh, that's not long.
I was going to expect you to think the thing I liked about the most of this movie is it's the shortest movie. Like, it
could honestly be short. It could honestly be 10 minutes shorter. Or they could actually do stuff and then, you know, it wouldn't matter. But anyway, so this one's not doing well. I guess just marketing wise, you know, The Monkey and Longlegs have more of a oomph when you see that trailer and you see what's the monkey, what's Longlegs.
I'll be honest.
Why does Nicolas Cage look like that? Why are they hiding him?
Why can't I see his face?
Why is that monkey's really creepy and there's people exploding and so
I haven't seen anything for this movie.
That's the thing is I understand.
It's very limited. We saw like one trailer in the cinemas. That's it.
I understand why this isn't getting, you know, as much.
I remember with Longlegs, people couldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
And that was like months before release.
I mean, but you also get the Nick Cage
that's true.
added bonus of press
sort of
Longlegs.
Yeah.
That's different.
Like I said earlier, the neon press what do you call it? The marketing is so good. But yeah, I mean, I'm biased because Osgood Perkins has disappointed me in the past, even for his previous movies, which were more well received. But I think this one, whether you liked his previous stuff or not, I think this one is a bit of a dud. I think he needs to take a couple years off and maybe work on his stuff a little bit longer. And I think, I don't know. I
think
hard.
that's the problem when you're a golden child. Is like, I'm sure that there was an exec somewhere who probably felt the same way you do, but because Osgood is like, he's like a golden calf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the wrong phrase to use.
It's because, you know, like I said, like his movies don't cost that much money, but they make a lot of money. So, you know, after he does The Monkey and he's probably already got the script for Keeper, and it's set in one location. There's only a few actors, and Neon's going to go, oh yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah. So of course, and then, you know, he's going to churn it out, and it's not even bad. It's not poorly made.
Yeah. I guess from a studio perspective, a golden calf was the wrong phrase I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. I know.
They're not
but I know
sacrifice him.
Yeah.
From a studio perspective, I guess it makes sense because it's cheap. They don't I guess most of them wouldn't particularly care if the stories falls a bit flat, because as long as he works within budget and he can deliver on whatever he told them, you know what I mean? I'm sure that he's bankable, I guess is the phrase. I'm not surprised. Hopefully the critical reaction will let them have some reflection. Because
as someone who didn't like, you know, Longlegs, it's like, you know, the critical reaction to that was much more positive, and I was like, hey, hang on, it wasn't that good. Like, why are we so for Keeper to be the one where people are like, hey, hang on, that's not good? I'm like, well, we're 3 movies into this run, and I don't think any of them were very good. So I kind of feel bad that it's like the third one that is the only one that people, and I'm like, well, this should have stopped ages ago because he wasn't that good. In saying that, his first movie, Blackcoat's Daughter, which Callum and I have seen and mentioned before, is still, I think, his best movie.
Yeah.
That's his most interesting movie. But yeah, I don't know. After this, I got to just wait for streaming. Like, I don't know if... But then again, he might announce something and it'll be this amazing thing, and it'll have, you know, amazing movie stars, and, you know, and I'll just be like, damn, I guess I have to... But yeah, so far, three misses from Osgood for me. Anyway, I think you guys might have a different feeling. I think Callum will enjoy Keeper, especially at the end, because there is some really cool stuff. But yeah, if you think about it at all, like nothing really happens, and the characters, there's no active choices, there's no
agency.
There's no agency at all.
I had problems with Longlegs. I can't remember what they were right now. But I think I remember liking it more than you, obviously.
Yeah.
And I didn't. The Monkey was just okay for me. It was just
It was cool.
Yeah.
But those angered me more than Keeper, which more was just disappointing. And Tatiana Maslany is so good. Her performance is so good that I was like, almost have to say that this one's the best out of those 3, just because she's compelling to watch on screen, even though no one's doing anything and nothing's happening.
All right, we might go to a very quick break before we discuss the new Edgar Wright, Glenn Powell action piece.
Action thriller?
Action thriller. I was going to say masterpiece. I'm like, no, it's not a masterpiece.
Oh, no, yeah. Like, take the master out of it.
The new piece by Edgar Wright, The Running Man. We'll be back right after these short messages. You are back live on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the Tuesday Review, now joined by Alan. How you going, Alan? What's made you happy in the last week?
What's made me happy in the last week? I really can't think of something. I'm sure I'll think of something. Oh, this is consumerist of me. Black Friday. Black Friday sales.
Yeah.
There's
a
couple of things that got me eye on, that's all.
Yeah.
So don't be a consumer, but we have to, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We're going to discuss the new Edgar Wright action thriller comedy in some ways, The Running Man. Kind of satirical take on, you know, I guess the hellscape, dystopian future.
Adaptation of Stephen King's novel, The Running Man.
Yeah,
Richard Bachman's Running Man thing.
So what's the go with that? Because why are they going to dairy and stuff? And
that's because in the book he always has Maine somewhere in like.
So is that a pseudonym for the old man?
What?
No. So Derry, Maine is the town that it takes place in.
Yeah.
So there are multiple Stephen King books where they go to Derry.
And you called him something else for a second.
Oh no, that was Nathan. So when Stephen King got famous,
Richard Bachman.
Yeah, when Stephen King got really famous, he wasn't sure if it was his actual talent that was selling the books or if it was just the name.
So it was a pseudonym.
Yeah. So he
yeah.
started writing books
Cool.
as
It was-
Richard Bachman.
he
It was
wrote
a combination.
He wrote non-horror books
Yeah.
as Richard
Yeah.
Bachman because he was pigeonholed as the horror
It
guy.
was
horror guy.
it was also a combination of like the publisher didn't want him to release more than one novel a year, but he had so much stuff. So he's like, all right, and then also he wanted to release non-horror stuff under the Richard Bachman name.
And then obviously the cat came out of the bag when people read the books and they're like,
Yeah.
this reads like Stephen King
Yeah.
because the man is...
Yeah.
And then someone like asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, it was
Like,
me."
why was he
And
going to
then-
dairy again?
Yeah.
Like, hey, this guy's maybe got inspired. It's like, no, it's the guy. It's the guy. That's what I asked. I'm like, so this was a Stephen King book? And then
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, he wrote it in the early 70s, but it was he shelved it and it wasn't published until the early 80s under the Richard Bachman name. It's like I guess it's more of a novella. It's not that long. It's set in a dystopian future where it's actually set in the year 2025.
It's actually set
which
in the
is-
real future at this point. Let's
Well,
be honest.
that's something I was going to get to. Is like we're not really far off, but yeah, it's set in the year 2025, which is funny because that's now where we're at. But yeah, it's about a unemployed kind of down on his luck guy in the future where the rich, corporations own the world as they do now, and everything's polluted and disgusting. And there's a game show called The Running Man where a person has to survive for 30 days from running from assassins who are sent out to kill him out just anywhere in the city or in the world. And the longer you survive, the more money you get. And so
Well, the more
main-
money your family gets, I guess.
yeah, I mean, because but if you make it to 30 days and technically you win, you can take the money, but no one's ever
No one
got
ever
that far.
has. And also,
Um,
it's never really verified whether your family gets the money or not.
No, it's not.
I guess they could always lie, but I mean, there have been previous, not winners, but previous
People that got close to
Yeah,
it.
so I
Their
guess
families got very wealthy, but it's like, again, no one. Maybe the book's more
But the,
clear on it.
the families... look, James has read the book. I haven't
Mm.
read the book. But in the movie, you never see any of the families from the contestants. So
Yeah.
in the movie world version, that's unverified. It's an unknowable quantity.
Yeah, I mean, it also doesn't help that the network, the evil corporations that run this whole thing, it's like they're not trustworthy.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like whether they get the money or not, it's just the promise. And I guess it's the same thing now. It's like poor people will do anything in the hopes that they might get a little bit of a reward. So
yeah, except for vote the right way, but that's not.
well,
yeah.
that's
We're
the
not
thing.
gonna
It's
get
like
social commentary.
that's
over
the
here.
thing. It's like they vote against their best interest because one day they might be a billionaire and they don't want to tax the rich because what if one day?
I don't want to pay that tax.
My
Yeah.
favorite line it was from Futurama. I think she's like, "But Fry, you're not wealthy." He's like, "But one day I might be, and people like me better watch their step."
Yeah. What are they called? Temporarily inconvenienced.
Temporarily
Millionaires,
millionaires,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Ben Richards, the protagonist of the novel, his young baby daughter is sick, and he needs to get medicine, and it's like he's desperate, and so he signs up for the Running Man, and goes on this sort of road trip throughout America. People are helping him. People are trying to kill him. He's trying to escape, and hopefully he wins enough money to get his daughter. They made a Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie version in 1987, which was very loosely based on the book.
I haven't watched that in some time.
I rewatched it because I love it.
Is it better?
It's yes, much better than this one, and it's a great movie. I love it. Like it's classic.
Very different though, but
Yeah, it's classic 80s Arnold action. It's so much fun. They take the basic premise and some of the names of the characters, but mostly it's like a more original work.
Now-
But it just works as a fun 80s action movie and also as a sort of funny satire of like 80s America, greed is good, game shows and all that stuff. So the 87 version still works, even though it's not particularly accurate to the book.
I wonder if Tom Cruise whispered to Glenn Powell to be like, "I'm too old to be the Running Man now. I'm passing the Running Man on to
Well,
you."
that's the I don't know if it's a rumor or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
like he's passing the torch to Glenn, like because after Top Gun, it was
Yeah.
like
Is Glenn gonna get a crazy scene then? Like crazy time period in his life where he does weird stuff and jumps on couches?
joins on.
I mean,
yeah.
maybe.
Well,
don't talk
I don't know
about-
anything about.
we don't talk
Glenn,
about that on this show.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Glenn Powell's, private life,
yeah.
but hopefully he's not a creep
He's a
like
good boy,
most
from
of
what
those
I've
guys.
heard.
But
So
he
far-
seems like a nice guy.
He's studying in university. Did you know?
He's
Oh, really?
He's a
Yeah.
rising action star,
Mm.
That's right.
and we love him in the studio for now.
Yeah. He had the right level of cockiness in Top Gun Maverick, where you didn't hate him entirely, but you know he was a bit of a douche.
Yeah,
but, like it was like, and then you know I'm spoiling that. Technically, he saves the day at the end. So like you know he comes in and it's like I like you guy. You know?
Yeah, I mean he's a good actor.
He has
and
visual charisma. You know what I mean? Like, so that's I think
he's got movie star quality. He's a movie star. But so Edgar Wright, who I'm a big fan of, wanted to remake or readapt the novel, and got the chance to with this movie. And so this new Running Man with Glenn Powell as Ben Richards is more accurate to the book in terms of the plot, which I think. As much as I love the 87 novel, I always knew about, you know, the differences to the book. And I was always like, oh, it would be cool to see a more accurate adaptation. Because as much as I hate remakes, this is a case where it's like, no, actually, you're not just remaking the Arnie movie. Yeah. You're actually readapting the book and doing... So I was actually always interested in seeing that. But, you know, Hollywood being Hollywood, I was like, they're never going to do it, or they're never going to do it well.
I think Edgar Wright is potentially one of the better names to do this project, only because he's a great filmmaker, but also too he was passionate about it, and this is something he's always wanted to do. If you're listening very close to, I'm listening live or listening to when I put the podcast up tomorrow, check out stories, because I put a really funny story up about Glenn Powell actually talking about making this movie, and Edgar Wright was so attention to detail focused that if Glenn Powell during a few scenes was not walking to the beat of the music that was playing,
like a Baby Driver sort of thing.
Yeah, no, apparently he gets very annoyed, and they spent a whole day doing just like one kind of sequence, because like Glenn Powell basically just had to walk in time with the music that would be playing in that scene, and if it wasn't frame perfect, this I'm going to go on a rant, and then you guys tell your opinions, because you guys liked it more than me. And I enjoyed it overall. But as someone who loves the 87 version and then just finished reading the novel not long ago and now sees this movie, the plot is more accurate to the book, which is good. And there's, you know, more of the same characters and whatever. They changed the ending again, which is annoying. But overall, it's like, in terms of the adaptation, Edgar Wright tried to, and his co-writer tried to get everything from the book, you know, into the movie, and do it in like a little over 2 hours. So in that case, I guess, but tonally, it's not close to the book. It's closer to the Arnie movie. It's a bit sillier. It's a bit funnier.
So is the book very colorful?
Yeah.
This is
I might, because you said the book's pretty short, right?
Yeah,
I've got
like 200 pages.
I've got an Audible credit. I might buy the book.
I think this is a problem with adapting something that takes a satirical but serious look at, like, it uses game shows and stuff like that, right? That's just a problem with material adaptation. I haven't read the book, but I'm like, how are you meant to adapt in a very serious tone a very cheesy satirical take on a game show that's kind of dealing with death and...
I think you can definitely do it. I think...
But it's challenging, right? Because
that doesn't mean you should just not try. Because,
no, but the kind of the visual interpretation is going to be, I guess, in a way,
you look
sillier.
Look at Squid Games. Squid Games is very serious.
But that's a secret game. That's not like watched by billions of people around the world.
Yeah, but that has colourful, silly games. But it's like
it's taken very seriously.
It's taken seriously.
It's taken serious. But I guess it's also, I think Squid Game it's viewed by. It's technically not viewed by the public, right? It's viewed by secret, like billionaires that are watching and enjoying it. Whereas they're clearly evil people. Whereas this is, once again, it's displayed to 2 billion people around the world.
It's meant to be entertaining.
Yeah, like it's.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying
it'd be difficult describing a dystopian society, even though we're getting into that, where people are going to just enjoy watching other people get killed.
Well, that's the thing. It's how you play it as well. It's like there are bits in the movie where someone gets killed, and it's like. In the real world, seeing that would be so crazy. People cheering it on would be sickening. And then you see it in the movie, and it's just kind of funny. Like it's played for laughs. Whereas
it's gonna get bad again. You seen bum fights?
Well, that's the other thing I was gonna say. Is now we're in the age of social media and the internet. And it's like people see crazy stuff online and share crazy stuff online and think it's hilarious.
Not to derail this. But you look at to listener, we're talking about The Running Man.
Yes, I wanted to point that out. Thank you for texting in.
You look at. I swear to God, I don't mean to derail this.
What's the movie you're talking about?
You look at Gaza.
Hold on, sorry, Callum, to interrupt you. Let's actually address the question from
Yes, we're talking about The
texter.
Running Man. I just said that.
And now for the derailment. Callum, please take the floor.
Oh yeah, no. Like you look at the reactions to Gaza, depending on where you lean politically. Some people think that like they share videos of people being killed and they think it's awesome. So it's like I said before the movie started, I'm like, this could almost happen, and like you could make a lot of money off this game show if it was real. Like the society is primed for this.
Well,
another
Richard Bachman Stephen King adaptation earlier this year, Long Walk, which has some of the similar premise of like and we talked about it. It's like this is not far off from what a lot of mostly right-wing people want.
Definitely not. When the whole ICE thing in America began, Donald Trump raised the idea of having a game show where they round up all the illegals.
Yeah, we talked about it.
I know it's funny and it's a
forgot
joke,
about that.
right? It was probably made for a joke, but there's also that little element that's serious.
But
he's a businessman.
Yeah, and I talked about this with The Long Walk.
The green card game show, you know what I mean?
I talked about this with The Long Walk, and the same with The Running Man. Is those books by Stephen King were angry and incendiary. The adaptation of The Long Walk wasn't angry enough, but it was serious enough in its tone and interpretation and adaptation. And even though it didn't work for me and I didn't think it was very good, like it was consistent in that. Whereas Running Man, it has none of the anger, it has none of the sort of fire it needs.
I think that
it's a very lazy corporate, like fight the power kind of thing.
And I think they also misinterpreted that anger somewhat because they make a point throughout the movie being like, "Oh, Glenn Powell's character, he's so angry." But I'm like, but it's not about. They say he's an angry man, not that the people should be angry.
Yeah. It's also that anger starts off like it ends up being a joke because it ends up being him like
So how much of that do you feel is because in the crux of it, you're making a film, right? And technically, the companies behind the films, the studios, everything else, are part of that machine.
Well, that's the problem with making studio films.
They are the cause of this, or they will be partly responsible for what happens in the future regarding this kind of stuff. So
and I think also there's also that certain liability question where the studios don't want to make a movie too radical,
exactly,
because then it'll blow back on.
And I think Edgar Wright. I think this is his biggest movie in terms of budget and scale, and there's so many locations and so many futuristic things going on and characters, and not only do they have all this stuff going on. In the scene itself, but then you've got all the stuff on the TV that's always playing, and the game shows and the fake Kardashian show that happens in the movie.
That
and
was funny.
All this other stuff going on. So on a technical level, Edgar Wright is very good at juggling all this stuff, all these locations, all these actors, all these music and sound and yada yada yada.
I will say that it can, like, the movie can have those kind of narrative issues, but the movie looks, you can see where the money went for this movie.
At the end of the day, it's well enough made that I was like, okay, that was kind of cool. Whereas most other directors would just completely fall flat.
I think we also didn't get the full experience because we didn't realize the cinema we went to had D-box seats.
Yeah.
Well, we got like D-box.
We got
0.5. Yeah.
We had row D seats.
Yeah, just next to.
Did we?
We were just one in front of D-box.
Yeah, no, we were row D, but we didn't have the D-box
it was a pun,
seats.
But yeah.
Anyway,
I think, and those D-box, they would have been a good movie to see with the D-box seats.
Yeah. But I think we got enough of the residual.
At the same time, I'm also cautious of it could kind of be overdone, and you'd kind of just be like, by the end of the movie, like, turn this shit off.
Yeah. Especially for a really long. But anyway, so Edgar Wright is just technically a good, and the movie is technically well enough made that I didn't dislike it. But even then, like, some people are complaining it doesn't feel like an Edgar Wright movie, and I'm like, yes, that's true. Also, it doesn't have a lot of his energy that he has, in a lot of his other movies. It's not as sharp. It's not as, well made. But another problem is sometimes too much of Edgar Wright is in there. Like when there is, like, there'll be like a 70s funky needle drop, and I'm like, this doesn't belong here. What are we doing?
He can't help it, James.
Yeah, he can't help it. And so I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, well, it's technically more accurate to the book in terms of plot, but in tone, it's really kind of closer to the 87 Arnie movie. I'm like, so you didn't really like. You might as well just gone full silly.
In a way,
when it tries to be dead, when it tries to be serious, it doesn't.
In a way, the angriest person in this movie was Michael Cera.
Yeah.
No, because that's playful laughs.
But he was still playfully like.
It's all it's all
he was
playful
like,
laughs.
let him come, and I'll I'm like, dude, you're
That's the
gonna die.
goofiest scene in the movie.
I liked him.
Oh, I like I love Mike. We all like Michael Cera. He's great.
No spoilers because it's in the trailer, but the scene with the water gun, amazing.
It's hilarious, but it's also out like that's a funny thing from a funny movie. And it's just like then they're trying to be serious with the dying daughter and like the people getting killed on screen for money, and it's just like what is the tone? The tone was more uneven.
It needed to be sharper.
Yeah,
but one thing I absolutely loved in this film was Josh Brolin's teeth.
Yeah,
they were whitened so perfectly. I'm like, that is
kind of sleazy.
That is a sleazy man that clearly smokes a lot, so he's got yellow teeth and he gets them like bleached as much as he can.
Yeah, he's like vein producer.
And I'm like, nice. If Josh Brolin was a little fatter, I'd be like, that'd be perfect.
That's the other thing about this movie.
Him being the nice Josh Brolin that he is.
One of the reasons I think I thought it was not too bad was that most of the performances are pretty good. Josh Brolin's great. Glenn Powell's fine. But Coleman Domingo as Bobby T, the game show host, amazing. He's so good.
Also, another actor who did really well in this movie was Glenn Powell's towel, holding on for dear life. Doing windy
See, that's
scenes.
the other thing. It's like in the book, it's this gritty kind of violent, and it's like he's swinging. In this, he's like swinging out the window. And it's like Glenn Powell's muscles. And I'm like, this is just another version of the 80s.
That's what
movie.
you pay for.
No, but I'm like, so in terms of an adaptation, it wasn't more accurate to the book. It was just following the book closer in terms of plot. But otherwise, it's just another fun action adventure movie. Yeah. And even then, none of the action scenes are really that great or memorable that I was like, wow, that's a cool action movie I want to rewatch.
He does some good Glenn Powell running, though.
But not enough running.
Yeah, that's it. What's is that your Letterboxd review?
Yeah,
it's like Running Man. Not enough. 2.5 stars out of 5. Not enough running. Not enough running, man.
Not enough running. Also, in the adaptation from the book, yes, he gets all the scenes, but he has to fast track. He has to speed through all the characters and go here to here and mention, just exposition, mention all the stuff that's in the book. And so you get to the end of the movie when they introduce Amelia Jones's character, which I, having read the novel, was like, okay, I know what's going to happen here. But I was watching this movie not knowing, and I don't know if you guys felt this because I know Callum enjoyed it a lot more, and you guys probably. But it's like her character comes out of nowhere, and then she's like, there's this whole thing with a bomb, and then the plane.
She gets a little too invested for my.
And it's like it's so quick.
Given the time,
like she's like, I hate you, Ben Richards.
If she was
and
like
then
with
he's
them for
like, you're the problem. You're rich, and she's like, I feel bad now.
If she was with them for like a week, because obviously they have the 30 days.
In the book, they go on like a road trip.
Yeah, and that makes a lot more sense.
I didn't feel that when I was watching it, but now you say it, that was kind of very rushed.
It would be very jarring. You're like, what is going on with this? All these characters, all these scenes. It's going to place. Nothing's, you're not really feeling. It's very quick. And again, like I said, they changed the ending. I won't spoil it, but there's a point where the movie should end, and then it keeps going and keeps going, and then it does all this faux like, fight the power. We're the people are, and I'm just like, it's very toothless. Very, and like it's well made enough, but not great enough to where I'm like, wow, what a great movie to rewatch just as an action movie.
It's a difficult premise to adapt considering the political landscape in America.
Well, that's the other thing is...
Or maybe it should be done because of the political
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking is...
which millionaire or which billionaire company is going to fund an overtly anti-capitalist thing and then allow it to be the beast that needs to be?
We need Willem Dafoe to do a movie, take the money from the movie and do it.
In order to get the movie made, you have to compromise, and then therein lies the problem. And to do a low budget sort of indie version wouldn't work as well because you couldn't have as much resources to do the game show and the future stuff. But it's just disappointing that like we talked about like I think it was just this past year, Long Walk, but One Battle After Another, Eddington. Like movies that seem to be about like this, crazy neo-Christo-fascist takeover that we're going through, and like Eddington wasn't really about one. It was just like, hey, isn't this all crazy? And none of it makes sense, and I don't have any answers for you. And one battle after another was like, yeah, there's a revolution, and there are people who are effective under the radar, but the overt revolution is not really working. But at the end of the day, it was more about Leo trying to find his daughter, and it was like an action thriller. Yeah. And Long Walk, like I said, it had that, but it didn't feel angry enough, and it wasn't well made enough. And this is the same here. It's just like there are all these movies about these crazy right-wing fascist dystopian takeover, and that feel closer to reality than ever, but none of them feel really like, damn, that was fired me up.
I think in defense of Ari Aster's Eddington, that's a very common interpretation of the film, but I don't think it's trying to do the same thing as those other films.
No, but it was just an example of...
It's more about the political landscape as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's,
and I'm not saying The Running Man should have been like Eddington or should have been.
Well, it shouldn't have been. I'll say that.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying like there are these quote unquote political movies that are coming out, and One Battle After the Other was the only one I thought was really good. But even then, it wasn't really about the revolution.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem is that the Long Walk and The Running Man are both about that. It's both very much about like the Reagan years, if you will.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
But
is it a good idea to keep making these films? Probably not.
I think you should keep making them, but
make movies like One Battle After Another instead, where it's like you can have a proper story to ground it in.
No, we need people to make these movies, but have the balls to actually.
I agree with James.
Do them.
I agree with James.
All
it takes is one studio.
Or pick a lane and just make a really fun, great action movie, which I don't think Running Man particularly was.
Hey, it was kind of fun.
It was fun, but it wasn't
doing
great.
The right thing, yeah. I do think it's a really, really funny and also very, very sad that so much of these kind of media is, oh no, I have a sick child and I live in America, therefore I have to do something. Like, absolutely.
This is why it's not a fictional dystopian future. It's just a present
whereas, like in Breaking Bad as well, like any other country, it's like, oh no, I'm sick. Okay, let's go to the hospital.
Yeah,
like the end.
Created by Vince Gilligan. One episode.
Where it's like...
Oh, speaking of Vince Gilligan, have you guys watched Pluribus?
I've seen...
Yes, 3 episodes.
I've seen the whole first episode, and I started the second.
It's really good.
I'm gonna beat my brother-in-law up if he's watched it already.
But anyway, I'll shut up. You guys can talk for the rest of the thing. I'll just say... not every movie has to change the world and, fight the power and be political. But it just disappointed me that this movie... was like pretending to be that, but was also very safe, corporate, and also just as an action adventure fun movie, it was only okay anyway, and it wasn't really that great for Edgar Wright, and it wasn't really.
No, I agree with you, and I pretty much echo all of your points. I think that was a pretty solid effort there, James.
One of the things I absolutely did love about the film is, goddamn, I forgot the character's name.
Who?
Emma and Hero.
Ben Richards.
When he walks from his block all the way through kind of town, and it gets like progressively nicer.
You see the wealth disparity.
The wealth disparity, and you just see like it's still...
See, that's showing, not telling.
Yeah, like absolute, like it's obviously still like a futuristic kind of like town, city, but like you see like his slummy part, and then you see like the nicer part, and it's still, you see the people wearing nicer clothes, and just like family coming out of their lovely security guarded kind of condominium building, and then...
also, sorry, I just have to mention this. So in the book, everything's very, because he wrote it in the 70s or whatever, published in the 80s. Like everything's, even though it's set in the future, everything's very analog.
Yeah.
And so Ben Richards, like, yes, it's a TV show, but it really makes no sense because he's hiding most of the time. And then occasionally, if someone spots him and they call into the hotline and say, I saw Ben Richards, and then some camera crews might rock up and the hunters might rock up to try to kill him. And then every day or whatever, he has to do a self-tape thing and then send it into the thing, which, makes no sense for a TV show. It's like that wouldn't work as a TV show. So the 87 version was like, well, of course, let's just make it a gladiator sort of thing where there's an arena and there's hunters and they kill. And so that works. And then this movie goes back to the book version, but it's like, well, now we know we have drone technology. We have mobile phones with 4K cameras in it. So it makes more sense now that you could be running on the street and everyone would be filming you and stuff. I don't think they go far enough with that. There should have been lots of scenes where like people, their phones out going like, and like blame, it's like, that's Ben Richards, that's clearly not him. And like all the stuff with social media, they don't do anything with that. So in the adaptation, and they also bring in the analog element of he has to self-tape and then send the analog tape. And I'm like, why did you take that from the book? Like leave that out.
The one understanding I have of that is at least that's like not from their...
That's a sneaky tracking technique.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
you
like...
could do that with a mobile phone.
He literally wears a wristband that's locked to his
also
thing,
the wristband
which
is
is not necessary for the adaptation at all. But if you do have to have it, you can say, well, they were tracking him the whole time and just letting him get away.
They could just give him a running man phone provided by the company.
Yeah, he just has to stream, or he has a body cam that he can't take off. And they're like, we promise...
Or a bomb in his neck.
Anything.
Yeah, the bomb in his neck I like.
If he if he gets rid of the phone, the bomb in his neck goes off.
It's
like
classic sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the adaptation, it's like not that great either, and it didn't do a good job of representing how times have changed since the book and how we're living in a dystopian future right now with all this technology and all this surveillance that don't, you know.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Anyone have any final thoughts? Because we are running out of time.
Today I learned, or not today, this week I learned that Donald Trump and what's the other guy? Bill Clinton were better friends than I expected.
About the movie.
Sorry.
I'll pay it. Okay. No, that's a fair and accurate statement.
I did like Arnie was on the $100 bill.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
I liked it. It was fun. Not perfect, but it's a good popcorn film.
Callum liked it a lot more than I did. I go on rants.
I'll buy it on 4K. I'll rewatch it. I think it's
rewatchable.
Yeah, we might rewatch
Glenn
it.
Powell has that star power where I could just put it on, and then it's like comfort food.
Yeah, Callum also is obsessed with Tom Cruise, so of course he's obsessed with Tom Cruise's protege, Glenn Powell.
Yeah. No, he's too tall, mate.
All right. We're all out of time, boys. Thanks for listening, everyone. You can find the Tuesday Review on some of the social media garbage at Tuesday Review AU on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Newsmast, and YouTube at Tuesday Review AU on all platforms. We're on Letterboxd. I'm Nathan B _90.
I'm channeldrifter.
I'm Alum20.
I'm Callum Tuesday.
Keep listening out for Future Mix this week. We have a special guest coming, and it's going to be a good time playing some live music and some new music. Anything else?
No.
I think we're good.
Keep
we'll be
running
back next week. Adios, cousins.